Now let me just quickly explain what I mean by getting everything in one place. So what you're seeing here is an aggregation of information. You can look at it on this left-hand pane, sort of like what friend feed is, right? So you can see these are all your friends. You've supplied the usernames for all these different sites that they're a part of, and you can easily get a jump and see, what are the latest posts they've made, what are the latest things that they're doing, and it's built up of tons of different sites and different things, right? And then there's this really interesting component, which are your friends. And this is sort of where our big focus is right now, so this is a very visual way of flipping through your friends, and if you want to make it super simple, here's an example of just seeing traditional thumbnails for this info, right? But all these people are essentially on Facebook, right? And you can look at it from Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, Bebo, whatever it is, pulling out your friends and being able to see them all in one place. And the reason why that's important is because, Plaxo and other people have really simple widgets and gadgets that let you sort of pull in people too, but they're in separate iframes or in separate little containers. So searching for someone and looking for something is sort of still by a network-to-network basis. And what we really want to be able to say is, like, the interesting questions in the future that I think are there are, I need a ride to this meetup. And I want to know which of my friends are going to this meetup that live within a mile of Palo Alto, within a mile of me, right? And the problem with answering simple questions like that is that no system can really understand who your friends are. The first part of the problem is that your friends could theoretically be spread between LinkedIn and MySpace and Facebook and whatever other place. And you might have one component of it through Friend Connect and some little part that lets you bring in friends into a partial view of an app. The only thing you have to keep in mind as far as terms of service and things, by the way, if you guys are developers working on things, is that Facebook lets you cache information for 24 hours, after which you have to get rid of your cache. And there's ways that we've figured out to make it pretty efficient and quick so that you're not really struggling in that. Anyway, and then one of the interesting things is, so from the mapping side, is that we've provided a way for you to be able to map people that are in your area, in your location. And if you really want a quick jump of just your map and who's in your area, let me just show this real quick. So there's 3 things you can choose from: your live stream, which is like your friend feed, your aggregated feed stuff for all your friends, your vicinity map, and your friend gallery, right? So this is the vicinity map, and so it shows me here. This is our place in West Palo Alto. And and you can easily see like the elsewhere information in these markers. So if I want to quickly jump to my Twitter feed, I can just click on it and jump to it. If I want to see what other people's information of where I'm actually pulling their information in from. So Dr. Granovetter is a LinkedIn friend of mine or what have you. Part of the thing that I mentioned to you earlier about being able to see something and remember something else, the pristine memory aspect of it, is that you want a really simple way to say, I'm looking at these feeds and I see something from my friend. I want to be able to just quickly click and see what information is coming just from him or where he is and what he's up to right now. So the last thing is sort of the revenue model and revenue stream behind things. And keep in mind, once again, this is like our first basic demo right now, and we're working with private funds. This is all, just me and 2 guys. And, let's say that, I'm looking through my friends, and this is Elena, and she works for Motorola, the Sunnyvale group, who does ecosystem stuff. And so what's the point of mapping, right? Like a lot of the things that, I know there's some guys here from Nokia, and they've done some really cool stuff with socially aware and location-based apps for their phones. I think they're probably one of the better companies when it comes to handsets for actually pulling this stuff together and making an effort with it. And then I read the other day that someone said, do I really want to know where my friend is eating at this moment? Or when I'm eating, do I really want to share that I'm eating at this spot at this very moment and have people be able to see that? I don't really get it. I don't see the point in it. And that's one person's opinion. So like it doesn't, does that mean that the whole idea is not a good idea and I don't want to be able to do this stuff in the future? No, I don't think that that's necessarily the answer either. But what the value that I see and what we're doing with Dita for the location part is that back to empowerment, you want to be able to reach out to your friend and you want to be able to touch them in some way that is easy for them to get something or do something or benefit from something around them, right? It's a lot more personal than just a poke or something that you randomly shoot across to somebody. You guys have seen virtual gifts on Facebook, right? And they generate about $30 to $40 million a year. And they're just pictures. It's really weird, right? And so if I want a coffee, I want a real coffee. And I want to be able to actually have a friend say, here's a Starbucks coffee. Next time you go to Starbucks, this coffee is on me, right? But the cool thing is, like, I basically can give your friend a gift that they can actually redeem. And when they actually look at this gift, it appears as a marker. And this marker is actually tagged to the nearest location of that friend that you bought the gift for. So this happens to be the closest Starbucks to Elena. And one of the things that's kind of cool about this is that as she updates her location, whether it's through a mobile phone that's enabled with GPS if that's what she wants to authorize or allow, or manually by just saying, hey, I just flew into LAX and now I'm in LA, it'll always tell her where that nearest location of that Starbucks is, where that gift item is, right? And of course, the cool thing is you get to see like this really cool gift marker that, you know, follows you around. And this comes back around to, and of course, you know, clicking on here, we give you a div with directions to actually show you like how to get to the location also. But this comes back to like what I was saying about empowerment. So if you look at it from the perspective of an advertiser, and an advertiser goes in and says, we want to know where people are, and we want to know all the social influence information. We want to hit people with ads and figure out ways to put ad units in different pages and page views and blah, 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 the way they've been traditionally doing it. That's one thing. But what's really key, I think, is if you enable the consumer, right? If you enable the person to actually do something interesting with their friend that's engaging, and I can buy my friend a coffee, I'll shoot this Starbucks logo to like 100 people. I mean, maybe not 100 because the economy's pretty bad and I'm pretty broke, but you get what I mean, right? Like if you made it more engaging and more interesting, and location is just one component of it, right? And if you found a way to just have that one simple interaction with somebody, it goes much further. And there's friends that I have that are in this app right now that are in France, for example, right? So it gives you a little more international feel to it. So I can see maybe something that they've put on a wish list that's locally to them that I can get them, or I can share with them or do something with them, right? And so I think that's how we're sort of approaching location, mapping, the mobile side of it. And of course, you know, if you look at even the layout of this page right now, the reason you have like that nice divide and two simple quick sections is if you think of an iPhone interface, if you're building something in IUI, you want to be able to understand how is this web app going to translate into a mobile phone? How is this web app going to fit on a screen, various screens, and how are people going to be able to access this? So we want to make those, you know, components as seamless and easy to go between a web app and the mobile environment. So this is what we're working on. We hopefully should have our first product and something ready to ship in the start of next year. We're looking for investors, of course. We have to still do our first round. And I'll open up to questions. So, go ahead.